I call this meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. First off, are there any amendments to the agenda? Sorry, my phone is freezing a bit. Let me see. Oh, just Jane, sorry.
Oh, hi. Can I strike TGIF
Yeah.
and change my officer report to or actually no, never mind. Can I just strike TGIF?
Okay, got it. And then I can continue with the amendments now. And then I'm going to change my report to written because I have to go soon. Jenny.
Hi, can I strike capital contingency?
Okay, got it. And then Sarah.
Can I strike bag, please?
Okay. And then I think that's all three.
So you said 8:30.
Okay, perfect. Can I get an amendment, please? I mean, a motion.
I move to approve the agenda for April 12th.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Emily motions, Cass seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Great. And by a vote of 11-0, the motion, Natalia, sorry. 12-0, the motion passes and the agenda for this week is approved. Great. Moving on to approval of last week's minutes. Can I get a motion for that? They were April 5th minutes.
I move to approve April 5th USAC minutes.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Who seconded? Sorry. I think it was Emily. Yeah. Tay motions, Emily seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. I think we're missing one hand. Maya, sorry. Or maybe, okay. By a vote of 12-0, the motion passes and last week's minutes are approved. Great, moving on to public comment. Public comment is a time for any member of the public who would like to come forth and speak to council. Remember to use gender inclusive language, use respectful language. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability. If any member at the public would like to address council at this time, please go ahead and raise your hands. Cass will promote you, and please keep your hand raised so that I may call on you to speak when it is your turn. Thank you. Radha.
Hi everyone, it's Radha, the Calvary chapter chair for our chapter here at UCLA. It's so great to see you all again. I hope you've had a great spring quarter so far. I just wanted to give a brief update on where we are at so far. To start, we won our campaign to phase out single-use plastics in LA County. The Board of Supervisors voted just last week and passed the ordinance limiting single-use plastics. And I just want to thank you all for helping pass the student government resolution and the EVP office for sending letters for the LA County Board of Supervisors for the campaign that helped us win and make our LA community a cleaner place. And right now we are in our pledge drive funding drive, working to continue the feat by banning unnecessary plastic packaging from online retailers. And I'm sure you know we are funded for a $10 per term fee students can opt into, adding to their Bruin bill, which gives us political power, staff training, and resources it takes to run these campaigns and win them. And in 2020 alone, online retailers actually produced over 600 million pounds of single-use plastics. And that's why we're working to pass a bill reducing plastic waste from online retailers. And through our pledge drive, we'll build the people power it takes to convince the legislator to pass this bill. And lastly, this will be my last week as the chapter chair of Calvary students. Next week, we will be electing our new board for the 2022-2023 academic year. and I can't wait for y'all to meet them. It has been an honor representing our organization and our school for my last year, and I can't wait to see all the amazing accomplishments our student activists will make along the way. So thank you for a great year.
Thank you, Radha. We love you so much and we appreciate all the work you've done. You are so amazing. And yeah, really excited to see who is next to Lee Calpert. Thank you. Okay, I don't think there are any hands raised. So with that, we will go ahead and move on to, oh, I will close public comment at 7:09 p.m. Great, moving on to funding. Contingency, Jenny?
Hi. Okay, here is the spreadsheet for this week. And I'm not sure if you guys saw our email, but we've been receiving a ton of applications. So I'm worried that we will not have enough funds to continue through the rest of the quarter. So we actually cut allocations by 10% this week. So it's just across the board, whatever each club was allocated, we just gave them 90% of that. And hopefully that is the most we will have to do. But this week we have 22 non-USAC entities and 3 USAC entities for a total of $19,177.26. So let me know if you have any questions.
Are there any questions? If not, can I get a motion?
I move to allocate $19,177.26 to 22 non-USAC and 3 USAC entities.
Okay, can I get a second? Emily motions, pass the seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Estoy en una junta, mami. It's not mami. Ay, mami. Okay, okay, awesome. By a vote of 11-0, by a vote of 12-0, the motion passes and this week's contingency program is approved. Great, moving on to SFS, Momina, or is Momina, I don't think Momina's here.
Yeah, I came a little late.
Oh, sorry.
I forgot to strike it from the agenda, but no allocations this week.
Okay, awesome. SWC?
Hi everyone. Okay, so this week we allocated $750 to one non-USAC entity. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, okay, that's just that. Okay, is there any objection? Oh yeah, I see the captions cast. I don't know if everyone else can, but I do. Okay, if there's no objection, thank you so much, Tay. Angie, ASRF?
Hi everyone. For ASRF this past week, we allocated $3,600 to 3 non-USAC entities.
Okay, are there any objections? If not, Travel Grant Mini?
For Travel Grant Mini, we allocated $2,134 to 4 non-USAC entities.
Okay, are there any objections? If not, I don't see prom, so we can go ahead and move on from ARC. No special presentation, so we can go on straight to officer reports. For my office, we just relieved FSLCC, which will be in a couple Saturdays, I believe, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday after that. I know like a lot of council members on this call, I think all of them are like people of color. This is a conference for this future student leaders of color. So if any of y'all would be willing to like speak to these students, please reach out to me. My office would really appreciate, and these students would really appreciate hearing from y'all. So if any of y'all would be interested, please let me know. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you so much for that end. I also had a meeting today with Academic Senate and we kind of discussed how it's looking like going back to campus with, the mask mandate coming off. And I really tried to emphasize the point that a lot of people were, concerned going back, and how it's been like an issue for a lot of students to have to adjust to, like, maybe they are not comfortable being around people that are maskless. And, at that point, they kind of didn't really have anything important to say other than like the modules that exist and how like those can like protect students. But of course, like, as we know, for a lot of students, like, it's a safety concern. So that happened. We also I have an upcoming meeting this week with Chancellor, sorry, I'm blanking, with the Vice Chancellor, as well as with President Drake, regarding like kind of what's been going on our campuses individually. And we'll be having that as all of council. So, I mean, as all of the student body president council. So yeah, that's all from my office. We're just trying to wrap up the last of our platforms. And yeah, with that, I'll pass it off. I think Cass said she's doing written, so I'll pass it off to Sarah.
Yes, thank you, Breeze. My office, honestly, I like broke my foot, so I've been in and out of the hospital. So my chiefs have been handling most of it. But brief recap on what we've been doing. Our state relations team is heading up to Sacramento in person for our first in-person lobby meeting of the year. That's really exciting. We're working with like the Women's Empowerment Coalition for the Acquire campaign on menstrual equity to establish a women's center here. After all the great work that y'all, especially SWC, did on installing menstrual products in all of the bathrooms. We're also going to be working on Double the Pell Week and doing a week of action. So we really appreciate some support on social media as we do that. And that is pretty much it. I expect to have more updates next week when I am back in functional capacity. I'll pass it off to Angie.
Thank you, Sarah. So this past week, I have been communicating with the Learning Management Systems team and the Academic Senate to work on the syllabi shopping program and how students can get access to their syllabi before enrolling. And once they do enroll in their classes, I also had a meeting on Sunday to facilitate TILT, our social justice mentorship program. So yeah, a lot of exciting things being worked on in that program by LA Youth. And then we're also looking for more note-taking scribes to volunteer their notes for folks who request notes for their different classes. So if y'all know anyone who would be interested in volunteering as a scribe, which is literally just sending over their notes that they take from class, please let me know and DM us on Instagram. And then I also had a meeting yesterday along with Erman and student affairs and parenting students in continuing the conversation to institutionalize accommodations for parenting students. And we just discussed next steps in regards to meetings with UCOP and with Title IX. But yeah, that is basically all the updates from me.
Okay, awesome. Moving on to, there's no one who wants to do verbal, so want to remind again.
Bruce, could I do a verbal report?
Yeah, go ahead, Prom.
Yeah, could I use this my verbal report time for like a community fund presentation?
Yeah, I don't see why not. We're actually really good on time, so go ahead.
Perfect. Can Janelle be promoted? She's attendee.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hi friends. So I'm present like updates on our end. So we have community fund applications that are going to be opening this week for students, and we wanted to just present the whole thing for y'all here, and you guys can ask questions to me at the end of this, but just as a part of my report. And Janelle will do that. But before we get into that, just like one quick other report that I want to add. I'm on the threat response and recovery task force. So, or not the recovery, but yeah, the threat task force that was created after the incident that happened last quarter. So I just want to give some updates from those meetings to y'all. So like we've been going over essentially figuring out how to define threat at the university. And this past week we had a meeting. The Vice Chancellor Stratcom came, Strategic Communications came to discuss like kind of like their role in that whole situation with the shooting threat that we had, and how how that can help us like do better for the future, because they were not aware of any of the things that were going on. So like they weren't able to communicate to the student body. They were left out of quite a few meetings. So that's been going on. So they're discussing that, trying to come up with a broader definition of threat that also includes like people feeling threatened when it's not a like active like physical threat, but like when it's something like those anti-Asian, like that letter that was put up in the Asian Am department last quarter also, that was just very threatening to various communities. So yeah, that's been the main topic of conversation in those meetings, and like various things are going to be coming out of there, like in different recommendations. And thus far, like the recommendations have been to make sure that Stratcom is included in these different committees that already exist, so that they are like included in the conversations and how we essentially notify students and send communications out to students. So just wanted to give that update. And if folks are interested, I'm trying to like type out my notes so I can probably send them to y'all after the meetings as well. But without like after that, here's Ark and Janelle, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Promise. Hi, everyone. I think I do have share screen options. So basically, we are aiming to restart the community fund starting spring quarter. And what this is it would be within the Arts Restoring Community Initiative, which is one of the series under Cultural Affairs Commission, and I am a co-director for that, which is why I'm presenting this today. So for the community guidelines, we kind of edited what it used to be in previous years. So our new idea for it is to make it basically a stipend for student leaders who are in leadership positions of organizations that aren't already stipended positions, so that they can be paid for the work that they do. And the way that they would apply to receive the stipend, which would be $250, would be to submit an application to us detailing whatever project or event or program they are working on for their organization. And we emphasize that these projects are culturally oriented and have social and or political significance, just so that they align with CAC's mission. The guidelines for this would be that the student leader has to be an undergrad student in a sole registered organization, and they have to be either a director or a leader of a project. And like I said before, that position has to be not already stipended, so like they're not being paid for what they're doing already. Each person and the project that they are using in their application can only have like limits on the use. So each person can only apply once per quarter, and we'll be having, I'll elaborate on the deadlines for that later. And then each project can only be used once per year unless it's a reoccurring program that happens multiple times throughout the academic school year. And we're kind of defining a project as any event, initiative, or program, just so that whether it's like a program that lasts several days or an ongoing event, like for example, if a club is producing a series of content, that can also be used in an application. And then more guidelines that we came up with would be just making sure that the projects, again, have social relevance. And of course, the applicant would have to describe what they're doing and submit documentation as proof of what they're planning, or if it's an event that's already taken place, submit proof that it happened and like kind of outline what the event was about. And of course, these have to be during the 2021 to 2022 school year. And then they also are going to be required to submit contact information for a reference in their organization who can kind of just verify and confirm that this person actually did the project that they said they did, just so that we have accountability measures so that we can make sure the person actually was in a leadership role and fulfilled the duties that they described in the application. And then, yeah, last but not least, we have the deadlines. Since this is something that we are bringing back pretty late into the year in spring quarter, we decided that we can just have a rolling basis deadline so that we'll take applications as they come, and throughout the quarter kind of review them at weeks 5, 7, and 9. So whichever applications we have during those times, we will review and like release our decisions to the applicants. But we will be closing the cycle at the end of each quarter at week 9. So like in theory, there's a final deadline at the end of each quarter 3 times throughout the year. But until week 9, people can submit whenever they have time. Yes, I think that is basically it for community. And then for questions, either Promise or I can answer.
Thank you, Janelle. Yeah, any questions, comments, suggestions? 'Cause otherwise, we can move on. Thanks,
No,
Tay.
yeah. Oh, sorry, Promise, go on.
No, I was just saying thanks, Tay.
No,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that thank you, Janelle, and like yourself, Promise, for like doing this. Like we really appreciate it. And not to hype up Promise and her entire office, but like I don't know if y'all saw Hip Hop Congress, but I'm so excited for that too. So
Yeah, thank you. We will have like a graphic and everything for this to be posted, and would be like more than happy to have field any questions about the application and stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Oh, I guess other updates. Like Bree said, we are having HHC. We are having our World Fest. We are having our Jazz Reggae Fest that also got announced today. So yeah, look out for a bunch of stuff happening this quarter from CAC, and we have a few more other events also. So yeah, thank you guys.
awesome. Thank you so much, Prom and Janelle. Great. So with that, we can move straight on to admin reps. Jessica?
Hello. Really quick, just on the community fund, I just wanted to ask if you don't mind forwarding the guidelines to the webmaster so you can get them up on the website. We finally have a new one hired, yay. So we'll make sure to get him caught up on anything. So yeah, if you can just forward that to the webmaster email so we can update our USAC website. And then the other thing I just wanted to clarify, I know you mentioned stipends, but I mean, we're not hiring these folks, right? You're gonna just do requisition forms or whatever process.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think
and
we just
then
use the word stipend just as
right. It's commonly known.
Yeah.
That's fine. But just want to make sure, since y'all are having your final deadline kind of late in the quarter, just be prepared for processing times. I know, we're still a little bit short staffed in SGA, so I just want y'all to know that and for students applying that especially if they're submitting an application like week 9. Just don't be shocked if it's going to take into the summer to get the rec forms processed. And then even if someone graduates, it's not an issue. We can still take care of it, but you know, they may graduate and then not be a student anymore and still waiting on any kind of payment, but like we'll resolve that how we need to resolve that. So I just wanted to make that clear because we are trying to do the best we can to catch up on paperwork, but I know SGA is trying to do a lot, and you know, we still have we're still trying to hire team members. So yeah, but so the other thing that I wanted to just quickly mention, because I realized that elections are kind of happening later this quarter than they typically do. So I wanted to throw out a suggestion to you all for those offices that have appointments. I think it would be a really good idea to figure out which ones need to be appointed by week 10 of spring. And then if we can go ahead and update any applications with like dates or like academic year information, and just go ahead and get the apps live so that we can start receiving applicants just to help the incoming board. Because their first meeting won't be till like week 8. And then, you know, they only have, you know, week 8, 9, and 10 to make some of these essential appointments that have to happen before summer. And so it just crunches the timeline severely if they have to try to, you know, put apps out and publicize to the student body like, hey, apply for these positions. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If that's something that you all would have the bandwidth to do, just kind of like make sure to start promoting the apps now so that students can start applying now, so that when the incoming board has their first meeting, they kind of already have applicants and they're not trying to launch the process and then only have like 2 weeks to turn around and interview everybody and bring the nominations to council to vote on. So yeah, wanted to throw that out there. And then, you know, we'll also be coming back probably next week with some dates for like an installation ceremony. So I kind of also wanted to just take a quick like poll with you all in terms of like, is everybody good if we're doing it as an in-person ceremony this year? Does everybody feel comfortable? Would you prefer that we try to do it virtually again? I just kind of wanted to see what everybody's thoughts were. And then we'll also send you some dates of availability to make sure, like, you know, whatever date we pick will work for most of you.
Wait, so is this separate? Just to know, this is separate from our last council meeting, right?
Yeah, so the installation ceremony is typically something that we do on a weekend outside of council. Outgoing and incoming elected officers usually invite like some family members to attend, and it's kind of like a formal, like we did this virtually for you all, so you might not recall back in the summer, but essentially we just like it's kind of like a formal like passing of your office to your incoming successor. And so like kind of how at the USAC meeting, like J board will come and swear in the officers. We do it in the installation ceremony too, because it's kind of like a ceremonial formal thing. And so yeah, it's just like a really nice thing we do in KGS. And then we usually have some kind of like hors d'oeuvres that we have for folks. And then, so we do this little ceremony, and then afterward, you know, everybody can kind of like hang out, chat, you know, get something to eat. But it's a weekend event. So it's kind of like a little formal reception, I guess you could call it like a reception. It's been a few years since we've done it in person, obviously due to COVID. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of like gauge where everybody's at. If you're feeling like doing something like that in person would be fine. I mean, all the event restrictions from COVID have pretty much, been lifted. So we won't have to worry about any of those things in terms of planning the event. But obviously you just want to be sure that that you all are good with it before we move forward in planning an in-person event. So I guess you don't have to let me know now. You can think on it and then send me a note in Slack or type in the chat if you're on board for that. And we'll come back with some dates to let you all know. But that's all the updates for me.
Thank you, Jessica. George?
Wait, I have a quick question. So
Go on.
sorry.
Sorry, Prom.
Yeah, it's in the chat too. Are we getting our plaques or our grad sashes? Okay, we can get cords,
Period.
but we can't get like
Yeah.
plaques.
I can order them for you all. So I just kind of need to know like who's graduating. So if someone can maybe just give me a list so I know how many to order. And then yeah, so sadly our vendor that we've used for, you know, forever and ever is like a small business that did like engraving and stuff. He's no longer in business. So we've been trying to like figure out an alternative to doing like the little nameplate thing. So hopefully I'll try to get it for y'all before the end of the quarter. But yes, I can order those for you as well. Yes, but maybe if someone can just send me like the list of who's all graduating so that I know how many. And then if any of you are not graduating, but not running or not being involved in council next year, like I can get you a cord next year when you do graduate. So that's not an issue either, but just let me know.
Should we let former council members who still also go here for that?
Yeah. If there's anybody that you all know who has not graduated yet, but is graduating this year, I can also get them cores if they are interested. I just kind of need a total number, and then I just order them through our UCLA store team. So
I have a question
the sooner the better.
too.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, not like
no,
that.
it's okay.
But like, I remember like I originally wanted to like, I don't know if you heard about that, but like I had asked to like cover the walls in the office of the president, but since like they're not going to be covered, I like know that like Naomi and Robert never got like their pictures up. Can we like get that on the wall?
So for the president's office, we've actually run out of space and we don't have space to put anybody else up. So we have to figure out like how to either install a new piece of that display, or we just need to like redo the whole thing entirely. Isn't that wild? Like we've had, you know, that thing has been up for so long that we are now out of room for adding more president 8x10 photos. So I do need to find an alternative solution. So Breeze, if you want to chat offline and let me know your thoughts. I'm kind of just like not really sure how to, you know, if it's better. I mean, you can let me know how you would think it would look, if it's better to just add a new display where we're putting more photos in, or if we're just, you know, completely redoing them and maybe making them a little bit smaller, like the older ones a little bit smaller, and maybe only the current president is an 8x10, and then once, you know, they're an alum, we get them a smaller print so that we can fit more. Or maybe it's nameplates, like GSA does engraved nameplates. That could be an option too. So we just kind of like need to brainstorm that one, because we have I have been trying to look into some alternative solutions, but then, you know, with everything being closed during COVID, we haven't had the chance to actually go in there and like get measurements and you know, update that. But I know it's, yeah, we will definitely get that updated as soon as we can with the ones who have not been printed yet. And then also, I think that your gavel needs to be updated as well, because we usually engrave the names of the presidents on the gavel band. And so I know we haven't done that for the past couple terms just because of everything with COVID. So we can connect offline.
Not like that, but I don't know where the gavel is. Like I never got the gavel.
Okay.
So,
I'll help you track it down. We'll figure that out, and we'll get everything like cleaned up and like
because
redone.
low-key I wanted to take a picture with it. So I'm like, am I getting a gavel?
I'll try to check in with a couple folks and see if I can track it down for you. Yeah.
Jessica, do you want us to help you look for new vendors for the engraved nameplates?
I'm gonna check with Bruin Custom Print to see if they have the capacity to do engraving. But I'll let you know if they can't. I'm pretty sure they can do it though. So I'm going to try to go through them. Just it'll be easier since it's in-house. And I can give them samples of what we've printed in the past so they can kind of just replicate it. Yeah, so I will check on that. And I'll let you all know when I can get everything ordered.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And then Promise, did you have a question for me or?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's for you or who it would be for, but when are the like bylaws going to be updated on the USAC website / does any who has like an updated, like the most up-to-date version of it?
Yeah, so we've been keeping track of the bylaw updates. We just haven't had a webmaster because our webmaster graduated, and so we just hired a new student this week. Like yesterday was his first day, so he's going back through and catching up on old requests to get them all updated and current on the website. So those should be up to date very soon. But definitely, if anything else that you notice is out of date, if you can just, resend that email to the webmaster Gmail account, just so it's at the top of the inbox. So he can kind of like go back through and get all of those done, and just give him like, a week or so just to, onboard and get familiarized with how to do the web updates. And then, yeah, we're going to try to get all that stuff updated ASAP. Because I know we're behind on a few things. So I apologize for that.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Sorry for all the questions we had. LOL, not the seniors really want their stuff. We worked really hard. So yeah, I understand it. Thank you, Jessica. So George?
Oh, no updates from my end.
Okay. Josh?
I don't believe there's Josh in today. He's
I don't
not
think
in.
he is. Orlando?
Hello, everyone. No, I don't have any updates.
Fernando? I don't think
Fernando
Fernando's
and
here
Patty
either,
aren't
so-
on either. Yeah.
Okay. So with that, damn, these meetings are going by so fast nowadays. I adjourn the meeting at 7:41 p.m. Thank you, everyone.